We're back with the third episode of the Blush and Bloom podcast. Welcome. I'm very happy you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about kind of a deep subject because we're going to dive into your feelings and your thoughts and talk about something that we all know, which is comparison. Comparing ourselves with other people. Especially now that everyone has social media and everyone posts their life on social media, I feel like I not only see myself comparing myself with others, maybe sometimes even unrealistic standards, but I also see many people around me doing that without even noticing sometimes. And we can quickly start being the ones chasing unrealistic goals and feeling like we're not enough, but that's gonna end today. Today, I will be telling you when comparison becomes unhealthy and when it actually steals your joy, but what you can do to prevent that comparison getting to your head as much. Disclaimer, I am not saying that any kind of comparison is bad, but we're going to talk more about that later. So let's start about why we compare ourselves. Like, what is this? I mean, it's human to compare yourself to others. You see others, you get inspired, you feel like, I want to do that. But then it can quickly get to the point where you try to do that, you don't achieve it, and then you're like, why am I different? What's wrong with me? Why am I not achieving what this person is achieving? But I think just in general, we should say that when you compare yourself, there is nothing wrong with you. And it's not like whenever you catch yourself comparing yourself that you have to stop that immediately, because I feel like it's something natural. It's something that just comes from us humans without maybe we're not even able to prevent comparing ourselves 100%. But the problem now with social media is that I feel like this comparing is just amplified. The comparison is just way higher and way more common than in real life. I mean, you're so overwhelmed or like hit by so many things to compare yourself of. There are so many kinds of people on social media that are different, living different lives, different types of people. And when you go out to the street, maybe things are not that diverse, if you get what I mean. Okay, yes, everyone is different, but maybe where you live, there's just some regular or basic lifestyle that many people live that maybe is also realistic at that place. But on social media, you see everything. You watch one reel, and that's a rich content creator living in New York. And then you scroll, you see a dad of five living on a farmhouse in Texas. Then you scroll, you see someone on the road, living on the road by themselves with their dog. Like, you're not even able to choose one thing that you want to pursue, and I have that a lot. So for example, today I feel like I gotta become an influencer and live in my penthouse. And then the next day I'm like, you know, I just wanna be in my cute little apartment here in Switzerland and be a therapist. It just changes all the time. It's not just the quantity of the things we compare ourselves to. Say you only compare yourself to one person. You see what they have achieved and you feel like, why have I not achieved the same thing? But first of all, you may not even see their journey. So they started where you started. They didn't just pop out all at the top of wherever they are. And also, Instagram, you only see the reels, the highlights of that person's life. The person actively chooses what they're going to post and what they're going to keep to themselves. And life is not that way. When you're a person, you don't just see the bright sides of your own life. You see the bad sides, you see the good, you see everything. For example, me, I I have never posted myself crying on Instagram, and you know that. And I would not post myself crying, but that does not mean that I don't cry. It's just a page, it's just a side of me that maybe I don't want to share, or I just feel like isn't relevant sharing because it doesn't benefit my page in any way, or bring across what I'm trying to bring across. I'm not trying to bring across that you're always just positive, but I try to bring across positivity in general and thinking positive. So just posting clips of me crying and saying I hate my life is just not going to benefit that. So just remember, what you're seeing of the people is not 100% the truth. Okay, they're happy and that's great, but you're also happy sometimes. But they are also struggling. You can't forget that everyone has their own struggles. And everyone is going through a different thing, no matter what lane you're in. And you have to remember that you're not on the same exact lane as that person, so your life can't actually look the exact same as that person. So, this is the first thing you have to remember when you're comparing yourself, that you actually don't know what that person is going through. Maybe they're going through something worse than you. Let's say you follow someone and you think, "Wow, their body is so beautiful. They're living such a healthy lifestyle. Why can't I look like that? Why do I not always eat salads? Why do I not work out every day?" But what you don't know is what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe that person that you're so admiring for eating healthy is doomed to eat healthy by themselves. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're struggling with having to go to the gym because it has such a big impact on their self worth. For example, I'm not trying to attack anyone here. Next up, we all know the saying, "You are your worst enemy." And you actually are your worst enemy just because of comparison, especially because comparing yourself with people just fuels that inner enemy, just fuels that thing inside you that is always critiquing and always thinking, "I'm not good enough, I need to be better." That perfectionist part of you, that's just being energized by all these things that you're seeing and liking, and just by the comparison itself. Of course, you're always going to say to yourself, "I'm not good enough." If you're always comparing to things that are better, like you're always comparing yourself to things that are better, you're not even letting yourself improve. I'm not saying compare yourself to things that are worse, because that's not really going to get you anywhere, unless you just need that self confidence for a moment, because you're just always reaching for the higher and higher and higher, which is great, which is amazing, which we need to grow. But don't forget that you are actually already growing. Think of how you were a year ago and look me straight in the eyes and tell me that you have not evolved and grown since then. Tell me. You can't, because it would be a lie. It would be a lie. You have improved. Maybe you don't even realize it, but 2 years ago you were wishing and hoping and working to be where you are right now. So take a moment to let that sink in, and think of the achievements you have achieved, and not just at the lack of things. What am I lacking? What have I not achieved? What 2025 resolution am I not achieving right now? Think about the positive things that you have achieved, because then you won't feel as useless or as "I'm not good enough," because then you get to think, "Oh, wait, look what I did achieve. I am good enough. I'm just growing and I just need my time. And I'm just not the same that person is, but I have grown in my own way. That person might have grown their business, but I have grown my mindset and they have not, maybe." So take a moment to actually appreciate what you have achieved. And if you're struggling with that and you are that person that is always thinking, "I need to be better, I need to be better, I need," just putting that pressure on yourself, take a piece of paper or just your phone or even the comment section and write down what you have achieved that you're proud of. So write in the comments what you have achieved, what you're super proud of. It can be one thing, it can be five things. One is enough. I, for example, am very proud of myself for having achieved and yet another year of school, which might seem very obvious, and like, of course, the new year is school, but actually when you're during that test phase, you're like, "I just need to get this, I just need to achieve this year." So I'm proud of myself for that. I'm also proud of myself for posting a podcast episode. It's one tiny achievement, it's one episode, but it is achievement. And I could sit here and compare myself to people that are making a living out of podcasts and having 1,000, no, not 1,000, 1,000,000 listeners, but I'm not doing that. I am thinking to myself that I am growing and that I am good enough because I am doing what I'm doing. Also, what is good enough? Who is saying what is good enough? Like, there's no list out there saying, "When you have achieved this and this and this, you're good enough." No, no, because actually, I'm thinking right now, what is good enough? But nothing is coming to my mind. Like, is that an individual choice? Maybe not, because maybe you're too critical of yourself. You're always good enough, actually, in a way. You can always become better, but you're always good enough. Or another thing where I feel like I'm thinking sometimes to myself is that I'm not good enough is maybe at things that I'm just not as good as in general. Let's say sports. I like working out and I like dancing, but when it comes to ball sports, just not my thing. And sometimes when I'm at school and I'm just struggling, I'm like, how can this be so hard to just hit the ball into the goal? For example, I'm like, why do others achieve this and I cannot? How is everyone good at that and I am not? Am I that unathletic? I'm not that unathletic, but maybe football or volleyball, handball is just not the thing I am so super good at. And then I just like to remind myself, Lila, don't get too into your head over this. That does not mean you are unathletic and lazy. It just means that that's not your thing. And how would it be? You don't play a sport like that, and that's totally fine. And so then I remind myself, what am I good at? Talking of sports, for example, I am good at keeping up with going to the gym sometimes. I am good at dancing. I love to dance. It's fun for me, and that's what I'm better at that. Or I'm just good at other subjects if we're taking the subject of school, let's say. Then I remind myself, Lila, you're good at the languages. You're good at French and English. So it's not the end of the world if in sports you don't have the best grade ever. And then I kind of get out of that comparison trap that I'm just so sucked into in that moment. And I kind of see the bigger picture and remind myself, you can't be perfect at everything. So I'm telling you this right now, you cannot be perfect at everything. It's always good to try and to try to become perfect or the best you can be at something. But just because you are not maybe the best at everything doesn't mean you're bad in general. It's just not your thing and it's fine. You have your strengths and you also have your weaknesses. Before I'm going to share what you can do to protect your peace and not compare yourself too much, I'm going to read out some things that you have told me. So, first, I asked in the Blush and Bloom chat what you thought about that. If you want to be part of the Blush and Bloom chat and be able to share your opinion, comment it or tell me on Instagram, and I would love to add you to the girlies group chat. And my sister actually said, my thoughts about this is that comparison is good when we are emotionally able to use it as inspiration. But as soon as it starts making us feel bad or not good enough in our progress, we should reduce it and turn ourselves back to ourselves and only focus on ourselves. I love this because you basically just summed up the entire episode, which is basically what we're taking out of the entire episode is that, as we said, comparison can be good and it can be used as inspiration, but it should not drain you. And yeah, you have always have to remember that you're on your own journey and that you're living your life and not somebody else's. The next one is, at the end of the day, you can only control your life, so live it how you want to. That's true. Sometimes you compare yourself to things that maybe you don't even want. You just feel like you want them because of all the other people that are doing them. And it is your life, and you have to be happy with it. And nobody else can control your life directly. They cannot, maybe they can influence you to the point where that kind of changes your life, but they themselves cannot change your life. So, you don't have to satisfy them. How do you even give them that big power to, I don't know, change your way of thinking so much to the point where you change yourself, even though they themselves can't even control you? You feel like it's the other people's fault. They're controlling me. They're doing that, but it's you. It's actually your mind that is taking that comparison to the next level because the person posting themselves doing that and that is not telling you to do the same. Maybe they are, but usually when they're just posting their lifestyle, they're not saying do that, do that, do that, live like I do. You're the one pressuring yourself into thinking that. But don't give them that power, or don't give your mind the power to give other people that power. Just live your life the way you want to. So what, you have not achieved the same things as other people? You have to be the one happy. You have to be the one content. And if that's not your priority, then you don't have to be sad or disappointed that it's not your priority when it's other people's, because you know you have to get your own things straight and know what you want in life. And at the end of the day, you can't blame anyone for the life you're living, can you? If you're a couch potato, then that's because you're a couch potato, because maybe you want it to be that way, and then that's good. But maybe if you are a couch potato and you don't want to be one, you can't blame anyone because it's you. We kind of drifted off here. Let's get back to what the next person said. You are an individual. No one is the same. If you compare yourself all the time, you kill your own beauty. It sounds brutal, but it actually has something because you are your own person. That's also what we're saying. You are your own person. And you do kill your own beauty because you just drain yourself from that comparison, and maybe your own beauty is still there for others to see, but you don't see yourself because you're in that trap of I'm not good enough, and that's bad and I'm not pretty enough, and you don't see your own beauty, or you actually start to kill it by trying to look different when you compare your looks to somebody else because they look like that and they look like that, and so you try to do that makeup, you try to color your hair that way, you maybe even do an operation, and then you're not your own beautiful anymore. You're not your true self. Maybe you're doing things that don't actually complement your face or complement your looks without even noticing. Maybe that eyebrow shape you had was just the perfect one for your face and just looked so beautiful. But just because you thought that that person has such a beautiful eyebrow shape, you changed it. You might not notice it, but maybe you just looked more beautiful at the beginning all along, but you just didn't realize it. But because you just didn't accept yourself the way you actually are. I also sometimes hear this quote that butterflies cannot see their own beauty, basically. They can't see their wings. And maybe you are a butterfly that can't see their beauty. Imagine a butterfly always sees the others and they always see their beautiful wings, but they don't realize that they're just as beautiful because they also have wings. And you can be inspired by others and try out new looks, but don't let it get to your head to the point where you feel like I need to look different to maybe fit some kind of standard. Because who says what a standard is? You have to know what the standard is for yourself. Everyone likes something different. You just need to love yourself and learn how to love yourself, which is easier said than done. But my love, you can do it. You can love yourself. Lana said, at some extent, comparing myself motivates me, but if too much, it drains my energy. And that's similar to the one we had at the beginning. It can be good, it can be motivating and inspiring, but it can also get unhealthy and drain you and just make you feel bad about yourself, which is not what we're trying to do here. Thank you, Lana, for sharing how you feel.
I received a message regarding this topic after I had recorded my podcast episode, so I just quickly wanted to include that message here. This person said, I believe that no one should compare themselves to others. We are all wonderful in our own way. God created us all special in our own way, and I can give two pieces of advice. One, don't look at someone else's path. Look at your own steps. If today you took a small step forward compared to yesterday, you're already on the right track. Two, think of yourself as a plant. Sounds strange, I know, but not all plants grow equally fast, but they all need light, water, and patience. I don't even know what to add to this message because I think it's just such a beautiful approach to this subject, but I think it is important for us to think of ourselves as a plant sometimes.
Thank you to everyone for sharing what they think and what they feel about this. So, you have to make sure to kind of shift out of that mindset and have the right mindset, the one where you are loving yourself and where you are proud of yourself, still trying to grow and achieve new things, but without toxically comparing yourself to others. So, let me tell you how you can do that. To be specific on the Instagram or social media thing is when you feel like you're comparing yourself to someone too much, maybe it's like your idol, someone where you're like, I need to be like her. As soon as you feel like the inspiration that you receive from that person becomes a kind of jealousy or a way of comparing yourself and feeling bad, that's when maybe you need to lay off for a while and not follow them. Because if it's not inspiring you, then why would you follow them? Especially when it makes you feel bad. There is no reason for you to do that. You can unfollow them. You can also just mute them. And I mean, you can follow them later on when you feel like you don't have such a problem with that anymore, or when you feel like you're at a place where you don't need to compare yourself in a negative way anymore. Just in general, when someone's content makes you feel bad or just lowers your self esteem. And maybe also in real life, it's not that easy in real life, but when you feel like someone is always not even pushing me to do better, but just making me feel bad, maybe you should just try to not be with them as much. Or I don't know how to say this because I can't just say don't be with the people you are with. It's not the best advice. It's also not the best to just avoid things. But if you feel like, for example, in this subject, this person always makes me feel bad because they're just bragging about what they know and I'm just feeling bad, don't sit next to them. Sit next to them in the other subject that you're both good at, but maybe don't sit next to them in this subject. So just protect your peace. Next one is, as I kind of mentioned earlier, just come back to yourself and remember your journey and you as an individual person. So, what makes you you? What things are you good at? What is your voice, your energy, the thing that you actually want, not just the things that you compare yourself to and think, oh, that's cool, I want to be like this and this and this. Do you want to be like this? Do you? Maybe you're just comparing yourself to a cool lifestyle, but maybe that's just not you. So, journal that. Sit down with yourself. What do I actually want? Trying to do that without thinking of that one friend or that one influencer. Sit down with yourself, journal. What do I want? How can I achieve that? And maybe you'll realize I'm actually comparing myself for no reason at all, because maybe you're starting to realize I am comparing myself to this girl that is posting 5 times a day. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even want to post on the internet. So why am I comparing myself to that? And as I said, there is inspiration and there is comparison. So try to turn comparison into inspiration. And instead of like letting yourself feel bad because of this, let it be an inspiration. When you see someone that you feel like I need to be like that person, instead of thinking like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not like them? Why is this person like this and I'm not? And I have not achieved anything. Take it as an inspiration. Think like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try and be like that. I'm gonna try and do this, and I'm gonna try and achieve the same goal that she has achieved because that is my goal. You can help yourself with that person if you have access to seeing how that person had their journey and how they achieved that dream life or that goal. Go back to where it started and observe or learn from that person how she achieved it, what she did, and take it as a lesson. My example, I love certain YouTubers and podcasters just because they are living the dream life, but I'm not looking at them thinking to myself, oh my God, Lila, why are you not like that? Why don't you have this? Why is your YouTube account not blowing up? Why are you not living abroad? No, I'm thinking to myself, I'm on my journey. They have also started at some point. And rather than just comparing myself or just watching the new videos where they have achieved everything, I scroll back to the beginning and I'm like, you know what? I'm on the same level as they were once upon a time. And maybe it has been 3 years, but that means if I continue like that, then in 3 years, I might live somewhat their life. And what have they done that helped them blow up? What could I do to help myself blow up? That's kind of the inspiration that I'm talking about here. But still, I try to adapt it to my life and my lifestyle and my journey. So think to yourself, what can I learn from this person? What can I learn from this comparison that I just caught myself in? Like, what's the benefit of it? You're comparing yourself to someone that is super athletic. Stop yourself right there and think, what can I learn from that person that is so athletic that you can always become better, that I can just practice and then become athletic, that I actually want to eat healthier. I just haven't taken the steps yet. So I think the way to sum this up is, as we said, comparison can be bad. It can also be good when you're inspiring yourself and trying to improve yourself. So whenever you catch yourself comparing yourself, in a bad way, in a way that is draining you and making you feel bad, sit down, take a moment, appreciate yourself, remind yourself of what you have reached, and remind yourself that you're not living the same life as that person, and that actually you don't even want to live the same life because you're you. You're your own person. Appreciate your own beauty, and you're individual. And if you ever feel like I'm comparing myself and I cannot get out of that loop by myself, I cannot find things to appreciate about myself, then you can reach out to me and I will support you on that journey and help you find the best things about you. I hope these words were able to maybe decipher some comparison, unhealthy comparison that you have been doing lately, and also help you not get into that trap anymore and just stop yourself from doing that. To end off this episode, I have a little affirmation that you can write down. You can say to yourself in front of the mirror, or you can just listen to it now. I am on my own unique journey, and I trust my timing. So, my lovelies, don't be too hard to yourself and remember that you are perfect the way you are.